Hi, Brother Sardonic here. Welcome, friends. It's Christmas in a couple of weeks. Ho, ho, ho. You know something? It makes perfect sense to me that we celebrate this holiday in honor of a Galilean holy man, a preacher, who he lived in the first century AD. It makes sense to me. It really makes sense to me that an obscure Galilean preacher born at that time, who was nailed to a cross by Roman soldiers because he was allegedly guilty of fomenting trouble, would be commemorated today by a German fat man in a red and white fur suit who lands on your roof, squeezes himself down your chimney, leaves presents, climbs back up, and gets on a sleigh pulled by reindeer and flies away. It makes perfect sense to me. This. Can you see the link? Can you see the correlation here between an obscure Galilean holy man and preacher, obscure in his lifetime, that is, and a preacher who was he preached humility and avoiding being greedy about, personal belongings and possessions, and that he should be honored every year by an extravagant gift-giving holiday. It all makes sense to me. Every year you and I, if we're not rich, we go into debt buying presents for this holiday, and and even if you're not a Christian, if you want to be a part of this observance, if you're a Jew, you can get out of it because you're a member of an older religion, right? And you don't necessarily believe in Jesus, even though he was a Jew. And many Jewish people take part in Christmas anyway because with the giving of presents, they feel left out if they don't get presents. I mean, it's hard when everybody is yelling, ho, 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 and drinking wine, overeating and tearing into wrapped presents, not to be a part of this. Most of the presents that we buy today are made in China, right? A ruthless dictatorship that is seeking to conquer the world and to rule over us. And we're helping this to happen by buying the presents. And what's ironic is that the gift-giving factories that make these presents in China, the Chinese, they don't care about burning fossil fuels, so they don't care if they're poisoning the environment. And their gift-giving making factories are helping to melt the polar ice cap in the north, which is the fictional home of the German fat man with the red and white fur suit and the sleigh with deer pulling it. Okay, so back in the old days, 300 years ago, Christmas wasn't a big deal. You maybe burned a log in the fireplace, and if you had any whiskey, you drank it and tried to forget for a moment that you were covered with lice and all your teeth were rotting out of your head. That was back in the days when things were rotten. And, it was only in Victorian England of the 1890s that the idea of giving a present came up with. And it was only a present for the child of the family, Junior. The three wise men, they gave the baby Jesus myrrh. It's called myrrh. It's kind of an incense of some kind, or you burn it and it smells good. Back in those days, people didn't take showers, and if you don't take a shower, you're going to stink, okay? And so you needed to mask a lot of bad smell. A lot of people, they smelled like a goat who had been in all the wrong places, right? So anyway, the gift to Junior that was given, it was just a little stick or some kind of crude handmade toy, but Dad, Mom, Uncle Fred, Aunt Flo, They didn't get gifts. No. Today, everybody has to have a gift. We all have to be like Jesus, right? This is a classic example of pseudo-religious equal opportunity consumption consumerism. And what are the alter effects of Christmas too? I mean, there's a lot of others. Every year during Christmas, we overeat, we gain weight, we get drunk and crash into each other, we go into deep depressions, we have to visit with family members whose guts we hate, or at the very least we're bored by them, tiresome family members. We do crowd shopping and jam shopping centers, and we create traffic jams and airport jams. Ho, ho, ho! But it does help our economy, buying all these gifts that put us into debt. So in part of the benefit is we can maybe better afford to build more doomsday weapons of mass destruction. But anyway, with having said that, this is Brother Sardonic wishing you a Merry Christmas. And also, ho, ho, ho. More next week.